Hello there, I'm Aubrie Kavanaugh with Pause for Change in No Kill Huntsville, and I'm joined here with Shirley Marsh by Yes Biscuit. We are No Kill in Motion, and today we're going to talk about a subject that's kind of a hot button topic because people are pretty polarized in their thought process on this. And the subject is whether or not homeless people should have pets, or people who are housing challenged. Should they have pets? And on one side, we have some, I was going to call them something really negative, people that feel very strongly that if you can't afford to have a pet, you should not have a pet, as if having a pet is a privilege that's only allowed by people of a certain financial stature. Then there are people on the other side that say, yes, homeless people should have pets. I think, Shirley, you and I are probably pretty close in our opinions on this, but what do you think? What do you think about people that have housing challenges having pets?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, you paused and changed your choice of word. I'm not going to change my choice of word. Fascists don't want poor people to have pets. That's it. They don't want poor people to have anything. If it's not essential for breathing oxygen, they think it's a luxury, and it's a way, if they use it as an excuse to cut poor people off from any sort of services or support, and pets are included in that. It's ridiculous. Many people who are experiencing homelessness have pets. It's generally dogs. They have strong bonds with those animals. You know, years and years ago, when I worked in veterinary medicine, we used to do community outreach on the weekends, on an occasional weekend, where we would go to a place downtown that offered services to people experiencing homelessness, and they would bring in their pets, and they would wait in very long lines to get their pets taken care of. You know who waits in very long lines? People who love their pets. Everybody there that I met loved their animals. You know, it's not something that is only for pet ownership. Is not something that's only for the rich or for whoever they want to say that it's for. It's for everybody. And also, there's no way you're going to stop it. You can't provide housing for these people. How are you going to stop them from having a dog? You're not. You're just not that involved, and you're not going to prevent it. So I think we need to focus on services to support them, not worrying about trying to stop something that we have no right to stop anyway.
I agree, and I would say I'm active on social media on Facebook, whereas you are not. But I can't count the number of times I've read elitist comments from people saying, if you can't afford to have a pet, you shouldn't have a pet, and it's just so arrogant. It's arrogant, and it shows an elitist attitude that, for me, ignores our current situation right now in our country. A lot of people are struggling. People are having trouble finding housing, and it's not because they're irresponsible or they've done anything different. It's because the cost of housing has skyrocketed. I mean, every time I turn on the national news, as depressing as it may be, I mean, I see these things about where rent has gone up. Of course, interest rates have gone up. The price of food has gone up. So I think that for a lot of people that are living paycheck to paycheck, which I'm pretty sure is a whole lot of people in the United States, a lot of people are this close to not having the home that they live in now. So I think that for all these people who are saying, oh, if you can't afford it, you shouldn't have a pet. Well, be careful how you phrase that, because if you're going to be talking about people that are irresponsible, well, in a month or 6 months or a year, that could be you, or it could be someone you know. So I don't like the elitist attitude. And I also think that we have to recognize the benefit that people derive from being around animals. I mean, it's been scientifically proven that they help us live longer, they lower our blood pressure, they keep us more mentally balanced. So even if someone who doesn't have a home has a pet, we have to consider the value that pet brings to that person's well-being that maybe makes them need less other resources. You know, I mean, I've seen T-shirts and bumper stickers that says "My dog is my psychiatrist," right? And I'm not saying that people that are homeless have psychiatric problems. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we all benefit from having pets in our lives, so there's value to that. And I'm with you. It's not like we're going to stop this from happening. So I think that we do better to stop judging people, figure out what kind of help people need, and provide them that help. I mean, I've seen people that take better care, people that have no home, that take better care of their pets than people with thousands of dollars that really don't, I mean, they don't love them. They're just, it's like they have them because of some public expectation. And they're really not part of the family. Whereas with these other people that may not have a home, I mean, it's like the pet is their home. Home is where the dog is. Home is where the cat is, kind of thing. So I just think we do better to stop judging people and give people the help they need. And there are websites out there. I was looking at one this morning. I believe it's called, and homeless may not be the politically correct way to call it now. I think you're supposed to call it Housing Challenge. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's called Pets of the Homeless. And you can go on there and you can donate to help people that don't have a home, help them keep their pet. And if you are homeless, you can go on there and figure out where there's help in your area. We have on our No Kill Huntsville website, we have a community resources page that tells people where you can go to get pet food. If you need veterinary care for your pet, what groups may be able to help you with that. So I just think we do better to not judge people and to realize the value that these animals have in these people's lives. There's a place in Huntsville called Unhoused that distributes food to people, but they also distribute pet food. And Fran Fluler, who's the woman who runs Unhoused, told me a story one time about a young man who had become homeless. He needed help. He wanted to keep his dog, and he needed help with pet food for his dog. And they supported him for, I don't know, it was probably a couple of years. And he would come in. I mean, people stand in a line like you talked about. People stand in a line, and there's a line for people food and there's a line for pet food. And people will stand for hours if they have to get the pet food help. So he had help from Unhoused for a really long time. Well, then he kind of fell off the map and they didn't see him for a long time. And Fran told me that they had a wonderful thing that happened a couple of years later. They were gifted this huge donation of pet food because it turned out that this young man who had fallen on hard times, one of his family members actually works in the pet food industry. And because they had helped him so much with no judgment at a time when he was in need, it turned out ultimately that was repaid when the member of his family made a huge donation of pet food so that Unhoused could help more people. And I just thought, you know what? Wonderful. I mean, they didn't judge him, and now all these other people are going to be helped. I've kind of babbled on about that, Shirley. I get kind of wound up about this stuff. Is there anything else you want to add before we close?
No, I think you've said it perfectly. People who are unhoused are just literally people. They are like everybody else. And, you know, you're going to have a range of people, and just like the general population. And some of them want and love and need pets, and they're going to have them. So let's deal with that and help them in any way that we can.
I agree completely. Well, Shirley, thanks for joining me today. Again, we are No Kill in Motion. I'm Aubrie Kavanaugh. This is Shirley Marsh, and we'll see you next time.